Good morning, BookTube. My name's Nadine. Welcome to my channel. Today I am doing a tag. I'm doing the Moody Reader book tag. I was tagged to do this by Kelly over at Books I'm Not Reading, but originally this was a tag created by Brittany at Slanted Spines. I'll put the links for those videos down below. So let's get going. So I've got them all here on my laptop. I was lazy and I didn't feel like writing everything down. Questions. Number 1. Do you consider yourself a mood reader? Yeah, I am. Horror I can read all year round, not a problem. But similar thing as with Kelly that she showed in her video, I got Ali Smith's Autumn when it was nominated for the Booker, so that would have been, I want to say 3 years ago ish. I think my daughter had just been not long been born, 3 years ago. I went to a talk given by her. I got the book signed. I was so excited to read this. I read the first page outside the building where I'd been to see her, and the next thing I knew it was winter, so I couldn't possibly read it. And I forget every year, every autumn I forget to pick this up because I get distracted by Victober and I get distracted by Halloween, and then all of a sudden it's Christmas again and I have to wait another year. So this year I'm reading this book. But yeah, I'm definitely a mood reader. Very much by the seasons. Number 2, do you set TBR lists and do you stick to them? No, generally, but that is why I decided to do a spring TBR shelf, because I tend to flip from book to book without any real thought about what it is I'm putting into my brain. And sometimes I look back at what I've been reading and it feels a bit disappointing. Like there's so many other books that I really, really want to read, but I forget about because I pick up something that's just not really worth the time. But if I do a readathon, I stick to those TBRs as much as possible. I really enjoy a readathon, actually. I think it's just the added challenge or sort of nice group activity. Excuse me a moment, my dog's crying because he misses me. I'm just going to go and grab him. There we go. Talking of added challenge, here's Harper. He's 17 and he has dementia, so sometimes if he can't see me around he gets a little bit whiny. Don't you? Okay, so where were we? Do books affect you emotionally? Does the mood of a book rub off on you? Yeah, absolutely. I tend not to read books that are quite angry anyway, so I don't have that problem. But if a book is very sad, you know, I'll definitely take that on. I'm an emotional person anyway. Like I cry at adverts. So yeah, I am a very emotional person anyway, and I think if you're a reader, you just kind of are anyway. You're quite empathetic. But then also things like I get a bit giddy sometimes. So with things like these, like the Charlene Harris Suki Stackhouse books, I've only read 2 of these so far, but I do find that if Eric the Vampire is making overtures towards Suki, I do get a bit, oh my god, I can't believe he's flirting with me like that. And yeah, just a little bit giddy, so I definitely do pick up on the moods of books. So number 4, when you're feeling sad, what do you read or do you not read when sad? So there's definite layers to that. You know, sometimes you're just a bit fed up generally. There's nothing actually wrong, but you're just a bit flat. I tend to reread things like that because I find that quite comforting. So 2 classics that I go back to time and time again are Emma by Jane Austen, and Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I don't know how many times I've read these books, but I do just find them lovely to fall back into, and because I've read them so many times, like you pick up on new things every time you read them, but also it's just quite comforting because you know where the journey's going. So yeah, I pick up those, or you know, I've talked about them time and time again, things like this, Cat Hair books, but I think because they have such a lot of happy memories associated with them as well, I tend to pick up those for rereads over and over. If I'm really sad, I tend not to read. But I love horror films. I grew up watching horror films, and so I tend to watch like favourite horror films, particularly like 80s stuff. So ones that I go back to time and time again are Vamp and Demons 1 and 2. Fantastic 80s horror, they're my faves. Okay, number 5. Most often, do you use reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? Well, I mean, my degree's in literature, so I'm capable of critical reflection. I tend not to flex that muscle too much. So yeah, definite escapism for me. But I think as a reader, you like to learn about people. I'm fascinated by people, by their behaviours, by, you know, trying to understand how they would react to different stresses, different struggles, you know, being uprooted, anything like that. I find it fascinating seeing how people react to that sort of thing. But then sometimes, you know, I read just because I want Eric to flirt with me, so there's that as well. Where am I? Number 6. What is a book that made you laugh out loud? So, most recently, the book that made me laugh out loud, it was an audiobook, and it was by Richard Ayoade, who is a British presenter, comedian, writer, and it was called Ayoade on Top, I think. And it was basically, he watched the Gwyneth Paltrow film View from the Top, where she plays an air hostess, and it was so bad he decided to write a book about it. And he takes this film apart piece by piece, not in a nasty way, but he takes this film apart piece by piece, scene by scene, and you know, writes a critical reflection of it, and how it is a view of capitalist society and all that. And it was just, oh, it's so funny. And if you know of Richard Ayoade, you know he's got a very distinctive voice, a very distinctive manner of speaking, and it was just a fantastic experience listening to it. Okay, number 7. What is a book that has made you cry, or if you don't cry, one that really moved you? As I said, I'm a very emotional person anyway. I do cry at adverts and, you know, films, and most things will make me shed a tear. But one that really made me like ugly cry was A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. When I was finishing that book, my partner walked into the room and he rushed over like, "Oh my god, what's wrong?" It's like, "It's this book, it's fine." So yeah, there was that one. But like I said, I cry at anything, so I even got a little bit teary at the end of this. My best friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. It's like anything, honestly. I'm a wreck. Number 8. What is a book that you didn't even know how you felt about? I did think of something. Oh, yeah, All the Good Indians, I think it was called, by Stephen Graham Jones. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong. I did write it down somewhere and abandoned it, obviously. Yeah, All the Good Indians. I read that back in November, and I just found it quite an odd one for me because, like, it was really well written. The sense of place was great. I believed the characters, that it was all good, but even now I don't know if I liked it or not. I just don't know. I gave it 3 stars, like very sort of on the fence kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I liked it or not. But I can't tell you why I wouldn't have, because it was all fine. It was all good. I don't know. So that one. Number 9, are you more likely to read on a sunny day or a cloudy day? A cloudy day, or especially a rainy day, and luckily I live in England, so I have lots of those. But if it's a sunny day, particularly now, I like to get out and about. We have so much to do here. I've got basically, I live in an old farmhouse, and we've got a few acres of land, and there's always stuff to do. So if the weather's nice, I just feel it would be wrong of me to stay indoors and read, although it is a sunny day today and I'm planning on staying indoors and reading. No, I'm not. I'm going to sit outside and read, so that's fine. Number 10. Do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, lights, smells, etc.? Not anymore. I used to. I even have a special cup that I use if I'm having a proper reading session, and by that it's got to be at least an hour. I used to make a pot of tea and light candles and just chill out, but I now have 2 children, and just generally lots to do, so I find that my reading is like a snatched 5 minutes here and there a lot of the time. It's not that often that I get a big chunk of time to read, and when the kids go to bed at night, I'm usually shattered. So if I start reading, well, when I start, I do try and read every night in bed, but when I start reading, I just fall asleep. So I tend to watch films at night. I like the idea of setting the mood though. 11. Can you leap from book to book, or do you need buffer time between them? No, I leap. I leap with great abandon from book to book. But one of the reasons why I do these videos is because I started to feel like I consume a lot of books without really digesting them, and doing these videos forces me to think about what I've just read, because I have to tell you guys about it. So I think I'm kind of out of the loop of who's been doing what. I think a lot of people that follow me, that make videos, have already done this one. So if you've done this and I'm tagging you, sorry, obviously you don't have to do it again. And you don't have to do it at all if you don't want to, that's fine. But I tag Vin at Revenant Reads, Michael K. Vaughan at Michael K. Vaughan, because I'll always tag Michael K. Vaughan, and Janelle at Too Fond of Books. And so that is it from me and my mutt. I will speak to you again soon. Goodbye.